Well, what is going on, everybody? Bryce McKinley, Coach Sharpen. You know what time it is. It's Thursday. It's 5 p.m. Central. Every Thursday, we got a group call. You guys know that this call is your call. This is the time that you get to ask your questions, and I will do my best to answer them. If we run out of questions, we're going to do some Q&A. But before we dive in here, if you're coming back on the replay, do me a favor, just to help the engagements in the group, please put a hashtag replay in the comments section. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you make it through the end or right before you take off, do me a favor, write a comment and let us know what your greatest takeaway was. Now, before we get started here, I do have a couple of announcements. There's a massive event going on this weekend. If you haven't already seen some of the promos that are going out, we've got the likes of like Damon John, David Meltzer, Kent Clothier, Shameen Van Gundy, myself, and many others, Daniel Chad Moore, Stephen Neville. The list goes on and on. A bunch of amazing speakers, entrepreneurs, real estate investors. You guys don't want to miss this. I promise you that. Whether you're a part of my inner circle or you're just watching this in our free group for Q&A, you do not want to miss this event. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go find me on Facebook. I'm the guy that's making this live happen. Click on my picture and all the links are in the bio and so forth. In the meantime, if you're watching this live, do yourself a favor, click the Zoom link up above or in the description and just join us so that you can ask your own questions and possibly learn a few tips and tricks and kind of go from there. So we've got a few questions that are already kind of at the forefront. And so I want to get to those before I forget. Larry asked in our group, how or what do you have to do to remove federal liens? And is it even possible to remove federal liens? And so specifically his question is, let me read it for you guys. If a seller has a federal tax lien, does the buyer inherit that lien? Or does the lien need to be paid off first before acquiring the property? So, Larry, I know you're on your way to go get another deal, brother, so I want to answer this real quick for you. I also briefly answered it in the chat of your post there. But the question is this, or the answer is this. Can you get a federal lien removed, or does it carry on to the said buyer? And the answer is yes. It can be either or. And so obviously if you're buying the property and the numbers make sense to what the lien is, you might just go ahead and take care of that. Or you may say, hey, this isn't part of the deal. I don't want to do that. It's going to fall back on the seller. Now, how do we get the lien released or extinguished? Well, there's several different ways to remove the lien from the property. You can pay off the debt. So if you pay off the underlying debt, the creditors, the IRS, they're going to agree to release the judgment or the lien. Then the creditor files this release with the same authority in which they recorded it. And so they're the ones that really are in control. Once that creditor, in this case, a tax lien, is released from the IRS, then the seller legally has the right to sell, trade, or do whatever they want with the property as they so please. The second way is, in each state, it varies and is different from state to state as to the process, but the courts can actually request a judgment lien to be removed. However, the court has to approve the request, and then it goes into a Supreme Court status, and then you're basically fighting the IRS, and it's a lot more difficult. The third way, which is probably the best way for the buyer, is to help the seller kind of along the path. And there's certain forms that you have to fill out with the IRS, but you can actually have them remove the lien from the property and not necessarily the person that owes the money. So what I mean by that is let's say that Bob has a house, but Bob's already moved to a new house, or Bob has a whole bunch of cars in a business. Well, you can write a letter and submit a form of application and ask the IRS to assign that lien to the person that owns the debt, meaning Bob, and or his businesses, his cars, or his new house. And a lot of times they will do that. And then worst case scenario, depending on the type of lien, not all liens are qualified, but you can file bankruptcy, and the seller could file bankruptcy if that was an option. Just know that if you've got your typical like 10-day, 30-day, 60-day close period, whatever that looks like, you probably need to set yourself up for a little bit longer close period, because trying to make the IRS move, trying to get the courts to move, you're really fighting an uphill battle. And so if that's the case, if your seller has a federal lien against their property, you're looking at, on average, between 3 and 6 months minimum. And so if you know this in advance, on our contracts in the academy, we already have it. But if you don't and you're watching this, on your contract, you should put on or before, and then push that close date out like 6 months and hope that it gets removed sooner. And then you can always close sooner once you set that expectation with your end buyer. Now, if you're like me, as soon as you submit that contract into title, you wait for title to clear. And if title clears everything except for this lien, and the seller is willing and able to cooperate to remove, then at that point, you start marketing that contract for an end buyer, if that's what you're doing. In our case, wholesaling, then you start marketing that property as soon as you know that title's clear, or clear with the federal lien as an exception. And then if that's the case, making sure that your end buyer knows and understands that you and the seller are in the process of removing that federal lien, that it may take a little longer than expected. So they can take their time. Now, I would say and preface this with your seller, that you can only work with buyer, or with your buyer, I mean, not your seller. You can only work with buyers that are serious about working with you, and that your buyers know and understand that although they're getting into this contract with you, that they are putting down a non-refundable deposit in order to tie this property up. And make sure that before you do anything further, that that deposit has been deposited either to you or the title company, preferably, so it's a third party. Because I'll tell you this, we've dealt with it here at REIA Results, and you wait 3, 4, 5 months, and that buyer's already found another deal somewhere, and now they're no longer interested in your deal because they found another one, or they found a better one. And so you want to make sure that they know and understand the expectation that they're in this, for the long haul. They're in this for the long haul. So Larry, that was a great question you had there, and I hope that that answers it. But it can take 4 to 6 months minimally. You can file bankruptcy. You can pay the lien off. If the money is available, they can pay it off at the time of closing. Most of the time, the IRS wants to see that prior to closing. So those funds that are allocated, depending on how comfortable you feel, those funds can pay that lien off first and then close, because you're gonna have to wait a few days for the IRS to record that and the title company to recognize that it's been recorded. So even though they pay it today, it may take a week or two for that to really register with the county, and then another day or two or week for the county to actually file that as recorded. So it's a waiting process. It's a waiting process. So it's not going to happen overnight. Just be ready to endure that storm. So Larry, I hope that that helps for you, my friend. I know we have some other questions here. And so if you guys are watching this in the group, please click the link up above, join us live. We've got a huge event this weekend that if you didn't miss the announcement, myself, Damon John from Shark Tank is speaking, David Meltzer, Kent Clothier, and many other amazing investors, speakers, and entrepreneurs. You guys don't want to miss that event. It's Saturday and Sunday. It's a 2-day virtual event. And heck, I know I'm bringing the fire. And just my portion alone, I get paid thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to speak. you guys can come and watch me if you don't know me already. And I'm going to be laying out how I went from $32 to over $154 million in assignment fees. And so with that said, this call is yours. You guys, I know Wade had a question. Bernie, you had a question at the beginning. And so if you guys would take yourselves off mute, and I'll go to Wade first because he had a question about accounting. And then Bernie, I'll hand it over to you. And Tammy and Lee Jones, if you guys would, feel free to open up your mics, open up your cameras, let everybody know that you guys are here as well. Wade, my friend, how's your day going, brother? And what's your question?
It's good. Just curious question. On personal residence, obviously you can write off interest on loans. What about rental properties as far as interest? Do you know if that interest on private money loans or anything like that is can be deducted as a direct expense?
So
if it's set up on a commercial through and against a commercial LLC?
So there are a couple of ways to do that. And your assumption in the beginning is probably the most used and common example. But before I give my answer, let me just preface this. I am not an accountant, and I would recommend you going and consulting with a lawyer and or CPA when it comes to what you can and can't write off. However, what I can tell you is from my experience, what we've always done is we've always kept an itemized sheet, through Excel or whatever that looked like. And each portion of that, the initial loan, the initial loan, the debt, the interest separate, and then as well as the labor cost and materials and things like that. We've always kept it itemized and separated out. And then at the very end, once the deal closes, putting that into like a separate sheet in my Excel spreadsheet, just showing this was my cost, this was my expense, and this was my profit, and having just a general sheet and then submit it over to the accountant. My accountant has never had a problem getting those expenses and interest written off as part of those standard closing costs. And they can do that by lumping them into, like you thought or had assumed, lumping it into closing costs. Because realistically, while it's interest accrued on a loan, it's not a traditional federally insured loan, it's private money. And so the way, I don't remember the exact term, Wade, but the way that is written in the tax code is it's part of the daily operating expenses, because it's a fee. Essentially, the way that your interest is being accrued, if you're doing a points and interest, right? Like 1 in 10% or whatever, those are actually fees that are re-amortized daily, right? And most people don't understand what I'm talking about, but essentially, 1 point is like 10% of what the overall cost is up front. And then 10% would be your monthly installment. And it's basically re-amortized over 12 months, broken into monthly installments. And you can actually micro that down to a daily expense. Because if you close today, that monthly expense or payment is going to be prorated. And so it's technically a daily operating expense. Does that make sense?
Sure it does.
Yeah. I'm wound for sound, y'all. I've done like 5 interviews yesterday, 2 today. Y'all got me at like 10 right now. So I see a whole bunch of people watching this. Jacob, Karen, more of you guys than I can see. Click the link up above, join in, get your questions answered. And we're going to do some role play here today too. I know Bernie wanted to do that. But before we get into that, Tammy, Lee Jones, Gazim, Bernie, what questions do you have? And if you're watching on the live, type a question down below if you can't jump in here with us.
I've got no questions for today. I just wanted to, pop in, listen in, and then, hear what's going on. Cause
looking fresh, bro. I like that new fade, man.
Yeah, I just got a haircut today because phase 2 opened up this week in New York. So barbershops open. So I finally got a haircut after about 3 months.
Feel like a whole new man, don't you?
Definitely feel a bit more pressure.
I love that smile. Gazim, when Gazim smiles, you know that something happened big. I love it. Let's give a shout out to Mario. Mario hasn't even posted yet in our group, but Mario just contracted his first deal today. He's submitting into title. Yeah, man, I'm excited for Mario. So that's what he's working on. I know he might be listening out there. And so I just want to let you know, bro, I'm proud of you for pushing through the personal development, the business development, everything that you've done in the last couple of months working with our team and I. Man, congratulations on getting your first deal. Tammy, Lee Jones, Wade, if you've got a second one, or Bernie or anybody else, let's do this.
Actually, I got a question for Wade because I'm sure he's done it before. But what exactly are those 203K loans?
I haven't done 203K loan, but essentially what it is, it's a special program to get loans for rehabbing houses. They give you like special rates and things like that to do it. It is, I looked them up once before, and they're a
203K is it's a tax code. Section 203K is an insured rehab mortgage insurance loan from HUD.
Okay.
essentially if you're a private individual that's not a company and you want to buy a rundown dilapidated POS, a 203 loan is typically one that they're gonna, it's one that you can apply for that's kind of like government backed. Just like an investor would go to a hard money lender or private money lender, a 203K is for like your run of the mill Joe that found a house that needs fixed up. So that normally wouldn't know what hard money or private money is.
Okay.
Says have to have 620, 640 credit score, maximum DTI is 41 to 45%, and you need a down payment of 3.5% or more.
And you have to make, I think it's 5,000. You have to make at least $5,000 worth of renovations and improvements on the property. I know it sounds low, but you have to have at least 5,000.
Yeah, says 5,000.
And it has to be an owner occupant of the property that you intend to renovate. You're supposed to be, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could do it on. So I could do it on my personal house.
You could, yeah. As long as your credit score is over, I think it's like 620 or 630 or something like that.
Oh,
or higher. And then your DTI, your debt to income, can only be like 40 to 50% or something like that. Like
yeah, 41 to 45.
Very specific. What's that,
Do
Wade?
you see they're getting rid of the damn DTI?
No.
Can you see the economy melting down in 5 years? Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
The DTI is going to Ferris posted it in a group that yeah, they're getting rid of the DTI as part of a QM.
Nice. That's kind of scary.
No, right? Right?
What are we gonna do?
DTI.
What's that, Tammy?
What would they base it off of if there's no DTI? That makes no sense.
Your credit score, I guess.
Only? Jesus.
I guess.
I'm gonna go get $1 million home.
I know,
There
right?
you go. Be like California.
Well, if they do that and they go off your credit score, what they'll probably do is make it to where, okay, you want $1 million home. Okay, you got to have an 800 credit score or an 850 credit score.
Yeah, but there's people that have it that could not afford that type of a payment. That's insane to not have DTI.
True.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of what Wade is talking about, but I can only imagine. We're on a quick path of destruction if we keep scaring everybody and doing what we're doing with this economy and this government. So.
Hey Bryce, did you see my text?
No, I did not, but I'll look. Only question I have is, how do you wholesale a sub 2? Do you want me to ask that now or not get into it? Yeah, let's not get into it. I don't know.
Now that you've read it out loud, I guess we're getting into it.
Yeah, I know, right? See how you are? Kazim, I got your message as well, brother. No worries. I appreciate your love and support, man, and your consistency. Thank you, bro. You're crushing it. I love it. I love it. So to be honest with you, that would be a great question for Kyle, our new business partner. And I don't know all the semantics, but I know it can be done. And it just depends on how the original contract was written, number one. And number two, what state you're in. So for example, in Texas, everybody assumes that you have to have, everybody assumes in the state of Texas that you have to have and/or assigns on your contract. And that's just not true. Any and all contracts in the state of Texas are assignable. Now, will you get everybody to agree with that? No, you might get title companies that give pushback and things like that. But that's the way legally it's the contract law is written in the state of Texas. So it can be done. Do I know all the semantics behind it? No, I've never wholesaled a sub 2. I don't know. So Wade, you've dealt with sub 2 a little bit. You've been through Grant's course. Do you have any other additional information on that?
Well, there's different ways, different things on the sub 2 stuff. As far as wholesaling sub 2, obviously you can wholesale a sub 2. It's just the numbers got to make sense, you know. So the bigger your spread on your cash flow, the more the obviously it's going to be based on equity and it's going to be based on cash flow. So both of those are going to affect the amount that you can wholesale the property for. The secondary aspect is that you don't necessarily have to wholesale the property. You can sell the note if you have a performing note that has, you know, I think they want typically 74%, has to be going through a servicing company, different things like that. So there's different aspects of what you can do with the creative aspect, and that's why it's incredibly involved. One of the biggest problems that has been brought to the attention through Grant's group that we talked a little bit about is that individuals that are signing these buying properties subject to don't have all the necessary documentation to be doing them properly and to be passing them off to somebody else. And the second part of it is that there's unscrupulous individuals out there that do not tell the wrapped buyer that they are selling they're selling the note or they're sub-2ing it or anything like that. And so someone comes in, they buy the property sub 2, and then they wholesale that off to somebody, and they never tell the original seller that they sold the property or sold the note to sub 2. They assigned it. So yeah, there's some things that need to be done right, and they need to be done ethically as far as being on that side of things. But it certainly can be. But I mean, if you really want to find out more about it, I would highly recommend getting into Grant's group, and if you haven't already completed all of his sub 2 videos on the Academy, do it. So a lot of information there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, Wade, appreciate you. We got a guest in the house. Thank you, lady, for jumping in. I love your action. So if you've got a question, I know you're fairly new, please do not hesitate to unmute yourself and chime in or ask. I'm not even going to try to butcher your name, lady. I appreciate you, but I'm gonna call you Miss Pham. I can pronounce that. So if you have a, go ahead.
Hey, it's Quinn.
Quinn, I thought so, but I didn't know. Quinn, welcome to our group. I appreciate you for jumping in. So
Thanks for having me.
absolutely. So I know you're just getting started. This is an open Q&A we do every Thursday. I'm curious if you have any questions specific to real estate investing, wholesaling, maybe sales. I know you're an agent, maybe some sales. Thank you, Kazim. Have a great night, brother.
Right. I actually don't have any questions as of now. I just kind of want to just jump in and kind of learn and see what you guys are talking about and see if I can follow on.
Sure, sure. And this is recorded in our public group as well as our private group for replay. So if you have any questions, you can always go back into the virtual wholesaling real estate tips and techniques group, and you can
Okay.
watch the first part that you weren't here for. So which one is that, Wade? Oh, for Tammy? You're on mute, brother.
That's for the DTI requirement and QM's going away.
Oh, gotcha. So Tammy, Gazim, Bernie, you guys that were on here for the DTI conversation, the link in the chat there is for the DTI requirements for the new 203K that we talked about. That is an FHA, so just know that a lot of wholesalers that are experienced like myself, we don't even look at FHA typically when we're running comps, and that's a whole nother conversation down the road, just because how they evaluate properties and things like that and getting appraisals are way different, and so they should not be used as comps typically most of the time. And that's just because of their requirements and, you know, there's certain percentages of market value and things like that. So thank you for sharing that link there. What up, Robert? What up, Jane? I see you guys watching. Feel free to click the link up above and join us live. If you've got any questions, I know that Jane, you had a question earlier I answered in the tips and techniques group. So thank you. I see Alex on here, #pirate, one of my personal acquisition beasts. The girl is on fire. Girl is on fire. Alex is about to make some money. She got a deal closed today. Alex, what are we making? What are you making on this deal? Alex is about to make $6 grand in commission on her deal that closed today. So give it up for Alex. I love it. What's up, Gary Dale Harper? I appreciate you, man. So Alex, you're fairly new, right? Like a month and a half out of training, a month and a half in this thing full time, and you've gotten what, 4 deals now? 3 deals closed? Yeah. Talk to us. Like, what questions did you have first coming in and getting started working with our team that maybe somebody new watching had the same questions that you did, and how did we overcome those?
Definitely nerves about following the process, and exactly what you always say, just trust the process, it'll be better. And I heard that every time I saw one of your videos.
Yeah.
And trust yourself. That's definitely one that you've beat in my head and helps.
Huge one, right? Trust yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're worthy, you're amazing, and you can do all things. So absolutely. Alex, I know it was last minute, so if you got to go, I get it, but thanks for jumping in. We got another deal to get as soon as we get off of this call, so I'm excited to do that with you. So, I mean, a month and a half out of training, a little over a month and a half actually being on the phone right out the gate, just getting on the phone and following the script. This is the same script, Alex, isn't it, that our Academy members have, isn't it?
Yes, and it definitely helps. What you've also pushed me for is don't be afraid to get the no. It's a good thing, and it
How many no's do
definitely
we take?
at least try to go for 3 a day.
Yeah. No, per person.
Per person. Okay. Now but that's one thing that definitely is hard for me is going, oh, they have said no. Or the couples that have yelled at me on the phone going, don't call this again. And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me no, and that you're, but I've also had it where somebody starts off that way and I go, well, you reached out to us. And that's when they're like, oh, yeah, I wanted to buy a house or I wanted to be a contractor. And then they apologize at the end, realizing that they should have been nice from the get-go.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing to see when you take control and guide and direct people down the path that they wanted to go down anyways?
Yeah, they just didn't realize it. So
Yeah.
and another one of my favorite phrases I've heard you say, and I'll say it again, if you don't shine your light, others will be lost in the dark.
That's the truth. That's the
So
truth.
What have you been feeding her?
Bro,
What?
she's learning from the master. No.
Oh,
No,
that's
I've
awesome.
literally listened to him the whole time, and it's really helped. And even though there were times that we worked on a personal coaching, which he noticed that and helped me through, and really has been doing, you're doing great, and reminding me to believe that I am. So
He's good with that.
he is. He's fantastic.
Thank you, Wade. Thank you, Alex. You guys, at the end of the
Anytime.
day, you know, my good friend Les Brown said it best. We all have greatness inside of you. You have greatness inside of you. And so if you're going through a tough time, just know that somebody else has had it worse and they've made it out of it, right? So, Wade, I seen that puppy, man. Got me distracted, brother. Is that a new puppy? Oh, he went off. He went off.
Yeah, that's my wife's new obsession. That's Flynn from Frozen, no less.
What's his name and what kind of dog is it?
Flynn.
Flynn.
Yeah, from Frozen.
Okay.
That's where she got the name.
And what kind of puppy is it?
Miniature dachshund.
Dotson. Miniature.
Oh,
You can
Nice.
learn me.
We talk about everything. We talk about some mindset. We talk about some tax liens. We talk about some DTIs. No, I'm just kidding. All right, y'all, we got about 25 minutes. Any other questions, whether you're watching this on the live or maybe you're right here because you took the initiative and you jumped on the link up above, like you guys watching this can join us. It's okay. Any other questions? Robert actually has a question. Thank you, Robert. You can always click the link up above and join us live if you'd like as well. We're going to do some role playing as soon as I answer this. However, Robert's question says, how to set up title company or talk. I'm assuming he's asking, and I don't like to assume, but without having specifics, how to set up working with the title company maybe. And thank God for the internet. I mean, there's about 10,000 real estate investment groups and real estate groups and realtor groups. So, I mean, 30, 40,000 groups that have to deal with houses buying and selling in just about every market that exists in the United States. And so the really cool part of having that at your fingertips, especially since you're watching me on Facebook, you can go join these real estate type groups, whether it's investors or retail or realtors or wholesalers or whatever, and simply ask, who do you recommend that is wholesale friendly or assignment friendly or investor friendly that closes title or does title work or real estate attorney, any or all of the above, and you're going to get a plethora of response, number one. So it's going to really depend on your market, where you're located, and what specifically you're trying to accomplish. Whether you're trying to flip a house, sub to a house, wrap a house, wholesale a house, whatever that is, not every title company knows how to do every real estate transaction, and most of them don't know how to do them the right way every single time. And so I would highly recommend reaching out, Robert, into your local market to where you're doing a deal or going to be doing a deal. Personally, just go do a deal first and then ask, based upon that type of deal, what title company. I don't like the whole networking thing. Like, if you don't have a deal, don't come talk to me is kind of the mentality. And so go get a deal first and then go network around that deal, because each deal is going to be a little different. And so that's the best answer I can give you based upon what I'm assuming you're trying to say in your question there. So I hope that helps, brother. I hope that helps. All right. If there's not any other questions, I'm going to open this up. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, brother. I'm going to open this up. Let's do some role play. Bernie volunteered, so I'm going to call on Bernie. Bernie, do you want to be the buyer or the seller?
It doesn't matter.
All right. Alex, I'm going to call on Alex because Alex needs to hear this just as much as anybody else. Are you available, Alex.
I am, but of course you're putting me on the spot, making me uncomfortable.
Hey, it's all good. That's how we get sharpened, right? We get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you got the script. You know what Bernie's about to say. So let's do this. Bernie,
Can I go next? It's actually downstairs. I'd have to go grab it.
hey, go grab it. That's all good. Go grab it. And Bernie, why don't you be the buyer? And Alex, you be the homeowner selling your house first and foremost.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, while she does that, I'm going to role play with you because she runs
Okay.
really fast. So, Bernie, I got a house for sale. You sent me a text message and I said, make me an offer, and you called me.
Okay, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Bryce, this is Bernie. How you doing?
Bernie, I'm good, man. What's going on?
Not a whole lot, man. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, the reason for my call is simple. My partners and I, we buy houses and we're looking for a few in your neighborhood. If I made you a fair offer, would you sell me your house today?
That made sense?
That made sense. I'm sorry. I forgot that part.
No, bro, that was beautiful. You know, Bernie, I'm glad you reached out. I've actually been thinking about it. What are you offering?
Well, I know you want to get the most for your house, and I want to give you the most for your house. So there's a few questions I have for you beforehand.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you have time to talk right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, awesome, awesome. First of all, what's one of your motivations for selling the house today?
One of them would probably be I'm just sick of dealing with it. You know, I'm ready for this thing to go away.
Sick of dealing with it, eh? Well, what do you got going on there?
Well, you know, I've got 3 houses, and this one I need to sell today. My grandma left it to me. It just needs more work than I'm willing to put into it.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty then. Seeing as you got 3 houses, maybe we can take a couple more off of your hands for you. Now, you said, is the house occupied or is it vacant?
No, it's vacant.
And you said it's your house now? You inherited it from your grandmother?
It is, yeah.
How long did she live in the house?
Well, her and Grandpa had that house when I was a kid, so at least 40 years.
Oh, wow, that's a long time, man. That's a long time. Okay. What is the address of the property?
You're starting to cut out, Bernie. I don't know if you're moving around, if you can stay in one place just so that you don't cut out, because you turned your camera off so we can't see anything. So if you could stay in one place, that would help. The address of the house is 1234 Main Street.
1234 Main Street.
Can't hear you, brother.
Hang on a minute. It's my internet connection.
There you go. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay. 1234 Main Street. Let's look this up. Okay. Oh, I see it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. Is that the house?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I see from the pictures here, it looks fairly decent.
Oh, you got pictures?
Pardon?
You got pictures?
Well, there's pictures on Zillow, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm sure they're old pictures though, because it looks so, because the house hasn't been on the market for a while, I'm sure.
No, I don't know that it's, unless they tried to sell it before Dad passed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bernie, I can't hear you and your face isn't there, so I can't even read your lips, brother.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Let's do this. Go ahead and turn your camera back on because we've got 15 minutes and I want to help everybody out. And I know that this will help you too. Alex, if you can turn your camera back on.
Thank you, Tanner. Yeah. I'm sorry, I got 15 people wanting me to do 10 things right this second.
Hey, don't apologize. I seen the burger that you're arguing against me with. Like, I'd pick the burger over me any day, brother. Hold that burger up for the camera. That thing looked amazing. Holy cow. Barney's eating good tonight.
Yep. No, actually,
Barney, do I have your permission to coach you?
sure.
For the whole world to see, hear, and know.
Sure.
Can I coach you at a 10 or would you prefer
Yeah,
it more
at a 10.
5?
At a 10.
All right. Number one, your intro was beautiful. I can tell that you've been practicing and how you say what you say with authority. My partners and I are buying houses and we're looking for a few in your neighborhood. If I made you a fair offer, would you sell me your house today? Beautiful. That was beautiful. I stopped you a little bit and said, add in there, right? A little bit that you forgot, but I can tell the fact that you know the tonality, you've been practicing. And so you should be commended for that. So keep practicing. That was beautiful. The second thing that I want to say that would hurt most people's feelings, but I know that it won't hurt yours because you are working to get better and better on every call, is you asked for permission. You said, do you have time to talk to me?
I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, shit.
I know you did, and that's why I wrote it down because I was just going. I was like, you were flowing, I was flowing. But as soon as you hesitated, I could tell, right? The same thing will happen with your homeowners when you're talking to them. The minute you hesitate in those first like 10 seconds like that, guess what? All credibility, the rest of the call just went out the window.
Right.
So, number one, and this is not just beating up on Bernie. He gave me permission
No,
to
I know.
jumping in, but
No, I know.
everybody out there, never apologize for getting your money. Number one, and number two, never apologize for reaching out, especially when you're returning their call. The scenario with Bernie, I want to make it easy because I want to get him to a win. And so he sent me a text. I said, yes, make me an offer. He called me. I answered. If they answered, they gave you permission to talk. And if they're too busy, they shouldn't be answering their damn phone. That's the way I look at it.
True.
So I never ask, is this a good time? Or I never say, I'm sorry I bothered you. I never say, do you have time to talk to me right now? Because what are they going to say? They're going to say, no, maybe not. Hurry up.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you're a retail agent like Quinn or like an acquisitions person like Alex working for my team, or maybe like the rest of you entrepreneurs that are running your own business. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If they picked up their phone, they've given you permission to talk to them. It's your obligation to show them that you're the best resource for the need, motivation, issue, problem, whatever they have. That's number one. Number two, or number three, I should say, make sure that you're building rapport. Once you've gotten their permission and they're like, yeah, let's talk about it, make me an offer. Make sure that you push back and you put them in their element, and you make sure that even if you're on the phone, that you are now in their element. So how do we do that? Well, we build rapport and we warm with form. Family, occupation, recreation. When you know 3 to 5 things about those fours, FOR, you'll always sell their motivation. You'll always solve that problem or issue or whatever it is that their motivation is. And there was no rapport building. You went right into what's one reason for what's one motivating reason, or what's one reason that you're motivated to sell this house today? It's a great question, Bernie. But before that, I would say, man, Bryce, it's awfully quiet over there. You must be working from home like most people today. Nice. What kind of work do you do? Oh, wow. You're in real estate? How long have you been doing that? Gosh, that's got to be overwhelming with COVID and everything else. How have you been able to shift and adapt? Boom, 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 boom. Look at there. There's 5, 6 questions about what they do for work. And now what do people like to do? Blech. They like to talk about themselves, and they'll diarrhea all the information you need to close the deal later.
Right.
Wow. You're in real estate, so you work on Saturdays and Sundays. How does mama feel about that? Oh no, I've been in business for long enough. I don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. Gosh, mama's gotta love you for that. What kind of stuff do you guys go do on the weekends to celebrate your time and freedom? Now you're talking about family. Now you're talking about what they do for fun. And now you're building a relationship that is all in the figment of their imagination. And as egotistical as that sounds, it's the only way to build the relationship when you want someone to come in and know, like, and trust you. It's the only way. They got to talk about themselves, because if you do all the talking, the only one that feels good is you.
Right.
Make sense?
Sure.
One other thing that I love that you did. I love that when you got down, because you jumped over step 1, but once you got into step 2 and 3 and started asking questions, you started giving them options. So tell me about this house. You said, tell me about this house, Bryce. Is it occupied or is it vacant? And when you can nail down options for people, they feel like they're in control. No, this house is vacant. It's been vacant for 20 years. Nice. Rack them. Repeat, acknowledge, question. 20 years. Gosh, that can be frustrating trying to go back in and clean that. Does it stink really bad? Right? You start asking those types of questions. Whew. Now when it's time to hammer them down for a price, they've already deducted their price, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And all you got to do is say, what's your email? I'll send you a contract.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Bro, I can tell you've been practicing, and I'm proud of you. You did a great job, man.
Thank you, Coach.
Burger distractions and all. I'm hungry. I got basketball practice for the boy tonight, and I got to grab a burger or sandwich on the way there. We're grabbing Subway. We got to eat healthy. Good stuff. Good stuff. Who wants to go next? Alex, I know Alex is ready. She's ready to light that fire.
Sure.
Alex, I'm going to give you over to Wade. Wade, you be the homeowner. Alex, I know you're still like fresh out of training, so I don't expect you to be hitting home runs, although you've already hit 3 of them and another one today. But I want you to lay it on them. Let's give it to them, REI results style.
Hold on. There's my godfather's actually not feeling good and he's yelling, so it may not be a good idea right now.
Hey,
So,
that's all right.
yeah, I need to go help that.
Go. Wade,
What?
let's have some fun. You ready?
Sure.
All I can think of is stump the coach, man.
Stump the coach.
You ready?
Sure.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, this is Bryce, and you are?
This is Wade.
Wade,
Who's
hey,
this?
I'm sorry?
Who's this?
This is Bryce. The reason I'm calling simple. You see, my partners and I buy houses, Wade, and we're looking for a few in your neighborhood. If I made you a fair offer that made sense, would you sell me your house today?
Which house are you talking about?
You know, that's a great question, Wade. I will buy any house that you are willing to sell today, especially if the dollars make sense. So how many houses do you want to sell today?
Well, we've got one that we're finishing up in probate right now.
Oh, wow.
That's
You've got a
doing-
house in probate? That can be overwhelming. Where are you at in that process?
We just finalized it.
Oh, good. So it's all done, checked off your list. Now you just got to sell it?
Yep.
Okay. So all the heirs are probably wanting their money. So that's the most pressing one, huh?
Yep. We're looking for an agent.
You're looking for an agent. Well, tell me, before we talk about how I massively benefit my clients, since this is the house you need to sell today, I'm curious, why did they put you in charge? Is that because you work from home and you're pretty flexible, or are you retired already?
Just I'm executor of the estate.
They put you in the executive. You don't sound too excited about that. You must be pretty busy. What kind of work do you do, Wade?
I am have my own home business, donut shop.
Wait, you've got a home-based business and you sell donuts?
Yep.
It doesn't get any better than that, Wade. How long have you been selling donuts?
Long time.
Man, what's your favorite donut you like to create?
Eclairs.
Ooh, eclairs. Is that the one with like the fuzzy, like pudding filling in the middle?
Yes, it is.
Nice. Do you like frosting on them, or do you just like them like glazed and plain?
I know they've got to have chocolate.
You gotta have chocolate. Man after my own heart. I like it. I like it.
Yep.
Obviously, the family loves you. They put you in charge of selling the house, and you're the donut man. I mean,
Makes it a little tough. Got to deliver donuts all around the Grand Canyon.
holy cow.
A little slow now with COVID.
Yeah, no doubt. How are you adapting? Tell me about that.
Well, kind of worked out having to deal with all this probate stuff and the slowdown at the same time.
Yeah, perfect opportunity for the storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that with me. Is that a family business, or do you have employees and you don't let your family get in there and work with you?
A little bit of help from family.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, good. Boys, your wife, or all the above?
All the above when it's summertime.
I noticed how you said all the above and I said boys. How many boys you got?
2 of them.
You got two. You got any girls, or you just don't make them work?
Nope, just 2 boys.
Just two boys. Man, you should have them swinging their football arm, throwing that dough around. I bet you they have fun back there, huh? How old are they?
Both in high school.
Both in high school. Wow. Are they
Yeah.
into sports and athletics, or is that something that
Well, they're out for the summer right now. So
how are they dealing with this whole COVID thing?
no, they don't like it because we make them stay and work.
Right? No Fortnite, no friends, no nothing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, man, Wade, we could talk about you, your family, your recreation all day long for this example, but I want to get into the nitty gritty. I'm curious. Most of the people I talk to, they want to know how I do what we do, but more importantly, how much we can offer for their house. Do you have those same types of questions?
Well, yeah, that's why we're talking to an agent.
Oh, and besides that, tell me, why are you looking to sell the house today?
There's no need for it. So there's 3 of us, 3 siblings.
Oh, wow. So 3 siblings, brother, sister, all boys.
2 girls, 1 and myself.
Whew. You play the mediator, huh?
Yep, I'm the executor.
Yeah, obviously they trusted you with that. I always ask that question. You'd be surprised how many people feel that this is overwhelming, and so they just let, the oldest, the wisest person in charge. You never know. So, hey, tell me, I appreciate you sharing that with me. Sounds like things can kind of be stressful right now. Wade, what's the address of the property you'd like to sell today?
6055 West Highway 78.
6055 West Highway 78. That's in such and such a Texas, right?
It's in Arizona.
It's in Arizona. Okay. Had my streets crossed. You did say the Grand Canyon. I just thought you were using that as a metaphor.
Nope, literal.
Literally. Tell me, so I've got the address 6055. I'm curious, is this the best number to reach you at, the 972-638-7501?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Wait, let's get started. It looks like your property's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, It doesn't have a carport or a garage. It might be a carport here. It's just a dash. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a carport.
It's a carport. Okay, so it's a 3-1 with a carport. And you said this was mom's house or grandma's house?
Mom and dad's.
This is mom and dad's. How long did they live there?
42 years.
42 years. And do you know, is there any type of HOA? I know Arizona's a little different about that.
No,
You know?
they didn't know what HOAs were back then.
Back in those days, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. It definitely sounds like a house that I'm interested in, Wade. This is kind of where it gets ugly. Tell me a little bit more about the property.
Well, it's got a lot of stuff in it. We still got to have an estate sales getting set up. So we're getting that knocked out probably in the next couple of weeks here. House is in good shape. It's got new carpet.
It's in good shape. It's got new carpet. Tell me about that. How long has it been since the carpet was installed?
About 2 years. It was installed shortly before he passed away.
Okay.
And
when was the last
anybody in
time?
there since?
Say that again.
Hasn't been anybody in there since.
Nobody's been in there since. Okay. When was the last time you did any other types of updates, upgrades, or improvements on the house?
We did did some painting in the bedrooms for them. Kind of spruced up the house a little bit for them there at the end. Put new carpet in it. Did some painting.
That all done 2 years ago at the same time?
Yeah.
So you got carpet and paint. Great. Have you done any major updates in the last like 2 to 5 years?
No.
Hmm.
I mean, the roof's about 5 years old.
Roof's about 5 years old. Interesting. Now, Wade, this is where it gets serious. Is there anything wrong with the major stuff like the foundation, the electrical, HVAC, or plumbing?
No, I mean the air's not new, but it's working fine. Probably needs a new hot water heater.
Needs a new hot water heater. Tell me about that. Why? What's it doing?
It's just old, small. It was just mom and him.
And have there been any renovations on like the kitchen, the bathrooms, anything like that to really bring it up to 2020 standards?
No, 1990 standards.
1990? Well, I can definitely appreciate that. I mean, you want to get as much as you possibly can. And heck, I want to give you as much as I possibly can, but I can't give you $20 for 1990 house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that. Wade, I can't work with everyone and I'm picky about who I work with. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for when you sell this house today. That way I know if we're a good fit or not, so I can truly see if we can help you.
Well, a house down the street sold for $135,000.
So the house down the street sold for 135,000. And was that
Oh
up to
my
20?
God, nobody cares.
About the same as ours.
Just stop talking. Nobody cares.
About the same as yours.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, if that's the case, then at the end of the day, I mean, dollars got to make sense, right? So in the meantime, you've got a lot on your plate. I'm curious, if I gave you cash today, what's the absolute lowest amount you take for the property?
Well, my sisters were looking at 105,000.
Oh, wow. 105,000.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they come up with that number?
Well, the number that the house sold that down the street, and one of them talked to one of their real estate friends.
So they seen a house down the street that sold and they talked to a real estate friend. Tell me a little bit more about that. What did the real estate?
They said that it should probably be worth that, considering the new carpet and the paint and the roof's in good shape, and that it's a good neighborhood.
Oh, wow. Did the realtors mention anything along the lines of if they fixed up the bathroom, the kitchens, the walls, countertops, cabinets, anything like that, that it would probably bring more?
Yeah, they said if we did some additional renovations, it'd probably bring about between 150 and 160.
Mm, okay. I mean, I don't
It's
think
about
you're
1,400 square feet, 1,450 square feet.
Sure, sure. I guess at the end of the day, thank you for sharing that with me, Wade. I guess my question is this: do you want the good news or the better news?
Give me the good news.
I mean, the good news is I think that we can do your sister's numbers or get very close to it. The better news is I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, and I'll do an inspection before we ever sign and finalize everything. So that way we're both on the same track. So when would be a good time to get my guys out there, take a look at the property? That way I can make you an offer. And if we can do your number, great. If not, hey, I'll tell you I told you so. Fair enough?
So you need to talk to the real estate agent, talk to a real estate agent.
No, not
How's
at
that-
all.
how's
Matter of
that
fact,
work?
I've got cash and you've got a house. We can make this very simple. Unless you've signed something with the real estate agent already, I can give you cash and we can get this thing checked off your list sooner rather than later.
No, we haven't signed anything, but I thought we had to use a real estate agent.
Great. And that's a big misconception that most people have. And when they realize how simple this process is, I send a guy over to take a look. I send you an agreement. We both sign it. It goes to a title company. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. It's really simple. My cash, your house, all the paperwork done at a title company. We part way friends and you get it checked off your list and I take over the problem.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we all agreed on 105. I mean, if you can do 105, then, I'll double check with them, but tell them that, it can be done direct and don't have to have an agent.
Fantastic. So let me
I
ask you
think you
this.
might want to talk to a real estate friend.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would, and I'm okay with that. I mean, heck, I can even help facilitate that. I've done a few deals in my lifetime, and what most of my clients like is that because of my experience, most of the time I can actually save them the trouble, hassle, and fees that come by working with the realtor and put that cash right back in you and your sister's pocket. So if you're looking at 100 grand and you pay your realtor 6 grand, well, heck, that's what, 2 grand a piece that you just kept in your pocket. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, perfect. So when's a good time to get my guys out there? We'll take a look at your property. I can do tomorrow. Would you prefer morning or afternoon?
That's probably going to have to be next week. I have to see what's going on. Plus, we have to figure out when the estate sale is going to happen.
Yeah, that's no big deal. I mean, you can do the estate sale at any point. We're not closing the deal. We're just going to take a look at the property. And if we can agree on dollars, then we can push out the close date until after you schedule that estate sale. So you can't do tomorrow. And you said next week would be best available. Would you prefer Monday or Tuesday?
Probably Tuesday
Tuesday morning or afternoon?
morning.
Okay, great. Wade, my guy will meet you Tuesday morning, and then I'll give you a call back later in the day, if not first thing the following day with the firm offer, okay?
That sounds good.
Hey, Wade, if you need anything, my name's Bryce, by the way. Take down my number. It's 972-638-7501. I look forward to getting this thing checked off your list. In the meantime, are you doing anything exciting the rest of the day? Call the sisters, go eat dinner to celebrate?
Nope. Getting through the day.
Fantastic. Well, man, I hope that it gets a little bit less stressful for you, and we'll see you next Tuesday morning, okay?
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. So I want everybody to notice, if you paid attention to that 20-minute call, from beginning to end, Wade kept throwing the realtor card and the realtor card to distract me. And I didn't know that it was actually, absolutely, Bernie, thank you, sir. Have a great evening. I didn't realize that that was necessarily what he was trying to use as the hook until down the road when he said, well, we'll probably need to talk to that realtor. That really anchored that in for me. But notice what I did. I took it with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's no big deal. Like, we've got a process. We follow the script and we just keep moving forward. Wade, what did you think? How did that feel? Did it feel comfortable going through there? There were some spots where you kind of dropped your tone, and I did that with you. You kind of got excited about some things, and I did that with you. How did you feel going through that conversation?
I think you did pretty well mirroring. Obviously you don't want to mirror somebody who's pretty low key. There's a certain point that you do, but you don't want to go too far into it either.
Yeah.
I thought that played out well. I mean, it was, and I pushed it more that, there's more than one person that has to make a decision on this, and the other one's pushing that we have to talk to a real estate agent and stuff like that. So, I mean, those are pretty things you're going to run into all the time.
Yeah, those are absolutely common objections that we're going to run into in this business. Carla, thank you for jumping in. I noticed that you jumped in here. Thank you for jumping in. I hope this was valuable to you guys. And you're right, Wade. These are common objections, distractions, deterrents that come into our everyday conversations. At the end of the day, we've got to trust the process. And so if you're out there watching this and you've been going down YouTube University, or maybe you've been following my team and I as we've been down this journey the last several years, this script is no different than the script my acquisition gal uses that I train my academy members on. There is no different. It's a matter of following the process and recognizing what needs to be recognized and racking the conversation. So notice when Wade brought up the needing to talk to the realtor, heck yeah, go talk to her. Heck, most of my clients, and I always use a third-party affirmation, most of my clients feel that they need to do that. And with all of the information, they can make an educated decision. And heck, I can even help facilitate that if you want me to. But they usually find out when they save money by not working with the agent and they just take the cash and let the title company handle the rest, it ends up being a win-win. And that was kind of the around the curve that I was using as I knew that curveball was coming. So good stuff. Good stuff. I got to run. I got basketball practice. Tammy, Alex, Quinn, Wade, y'all rode with me this whole hour. I appreciate you guys. Any other questions before I run? Any final questions?
Grand to have a good practice.
I know, right? Appreciate that. Thank you guys. God bless. Stay sharp.
Thank
See you at the top. Quinn, did you have a question, hon?
No, I just wanted to say thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, my pleasure. Appreciate you. Shoot me a message for some free time next week. We'll go grab some coffee, some pho, or whatever, and go from there, lady. I appreciate you. Alex, I appreciate you. Tammy, thank you. Wade, y'all have a great night. Peace.